Okay, Alex, what do you think? How does
Ah,
it
now
look?
it gives me a little notification that apparently it's now live streaming on YouTube. So that is,
Okay, Alex, what do you think? How does
ah,
it
now
look?
it gives me a little notification that apparently.
Oh, now I can hear you double. I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
um, I think we're maybe two of us are live streaming now. Not sure. Okay. Anyway, right. Do you think we are ready?
Yes,
Okay,
I think we can get started.
let's do it.
Perfect. All right. So, hello, everyone. Like I said, good day, good morning, good night, good just whatever time zone it is that you're living in or that you're in right now. And welcome to this event, to our Travel Fails event for today. Thank you for being with us. This is the second episode of the Travel Fails event that we're doing. And we're really looking forward to hearing all your stories, all your travel fails. And yeah, so we regularly have these kind of events with our team. Of course, online right now, but hopefully also in person soon. And yeah, we like to share some of our favorite stories, like some really funny things or crazy things that happened to us on our travels.
Yes, we do like to share some embarrassing moments and fails within the team. So we thought, what better way to sort of bring it to you guys as well? Yeah, that's why we sort of thought, okay, let's get our community together and share some stories. So actually, a couple of, or maybe a few weeks ago now, we hosted the sort of first episode of the Travel Fails event, and because there were so many people that actually wanted to share their story, and yeah, we had some really great feedback. We thought, why not do it again?
Yeah, so I really can't wait to get started. And of course, we want to introduce ourselves real quick. So I am Zaina, I'm from JoinMyTrip. And yeah, I'll be one of your hosts tonight. And I have great support from Alex also.
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm Alex, and I'm also really looking forward to hearing some of the teams, but also some of your guys' funniest travel mistakes, fails, or anything that maybe went wrong on one of your trips. And yeah, let's get started.
Yes. Okay, so we want to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and we need your support for that. So we would like to share some kind of house rules with you guys. So please keep yourself muted while you're not speaking and while somebody else is speaking. In the beginning, we're going to give a short introduction about who we are, basically, and then share some of our team stories. And yeah, once we start the discussion part, of course, you'll be able to speak freely, and also we'll unmute your mic. And if you have any questions during the whole event or during stories or just anything in general that you want to ask, you can ask the questions in the chat, or later we will also have some time for that. And our colleagues will answer the questions in the chat, everything that she can. Just please be respectful and yeah, don't speak over someone or interrupt someone while they're speaking. So if you want to speak, just raise your hand.
Yes. And of course, another important thing is to keep really mindful of the time, so that everyone has the chance to share their stories. So yeah, we would really appreciate it if you could maybe sort of, while you're telling your story, might be a little bit difficult. We know that all too well. But sort of, yeah, try and look at the time a little bit, and maybe sort of don't try to go above 3 minutes. 3 minutes is usually the sweet spot. We have found that's when some people sort of drop in attention. So yeah, that would be amazing if you could just, yeah, keep it short and sweet. And of course, another really important thing is when we are all telling our amazing stories, if you want to share your reactions, you can use the little reaction buttons. So they are at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Should be a little emoji called reactions. And yeah, you can just press on that and choose any reaction you would like to give. So why don't we try that out right now? So are you guys excited for our event tonight?
Well, I can see some party hats.
Yay!
Yeah, like I said, I'm super excited to hear your stories.
Nice. So the ones that might still be new, to the webinars or to anything in general to do with Join My Trip, let's have a look at what we actually are. So have you ever been faced with the sort of challenge of wanting to go on a trip, but maybe your friends couldn't go because they didn't have the budget, they didn't have the time, they didn't want to go to the destination that you wanted to go, but you were super, super excited and super pumped and actually couldn't wait to go. But then you had to sort of, change your plans and not go at all because you felt like you didn't want to go by yourself. And that was sort of the only other option. So we realized that actually a lot of people in this world are faced with the same challenge.
Yeah, and that's really why we created the platform JoinMyTrip. And this is a place where we connect trip leaders and trip mates. So trip leaders are the ones organizing the trips and planning everything from accommodation or transport, maybe also some activities. And then they publish their travel plans on our platform, and interested trip mates just request to join this adventure. And as a trip leader, you can actually earn some money also for organizing everything.
Yes, so essentially our platform is a way to connect the travelers who like to organize everything and the people who maybe prefer to sort of sit back and relax. Of course, you can be both as well. So currently our community is over 140,000 members strong, but of course we're ever growing and we are always welcoming new members to our community.
Yeah, and that's really also why we're putting on these events, so that we can have a place to connect fellow travel lovers and empower you guys to connect and travel together. If you want to know more about this, you can check out our website. We will post the link to the website in the chat right now.
Nice. Yes. So what exactly is a travel fail, you wonder? So I'm sure you guys have an idea of what, of course, we mean by this. But just to go over a couple of sort of points. If you've ever gone traveling, you know that nothing usually goes, well, not nothing, but a lot of things might not go as planned. So you might be there with your perfect plan, but then something happens, and you're sort of lost, or something got stolen, or all those crazy things that happen on a trip. And of course we know that a lot of people these things happen to almost every one of us. So we thought, okay, why don't we sort of make something fun out of the struggles that have happened, and get together and share these stories.
Yeah, so here we have some prompts for the upcoming discussion. You can take a look at those, and maybe something inspires you, or maybe you read something and then it reminds you of this thing that happened to you. And don't worry, we will show this slide again later on. So you don't have to remember or memorize everything right now. So and like we said, we have some team stories also. So before we come to the discussion part, we have invited some of our team members that want to share some of their best stories to kind of get us going, get us all in the mood. So first off, our colleague Kira.
Hi guys. So my story starts at Sydney International Airport, and we were boarding the plane home to London and then back to Berlin. And I was with my boyfriend and we booked seats to go and sit together. And we boarded the plane. Everything was fine until I sat down. The seat was always going in the laying back position. Okay, tell the steward what's going on. There was no steward. So when we started, the first stewardess came by and was like, you have to put your seat up in a upright position. Yeah, I can. So that's the first travel fail. I actually managed to delay an international flight by 45 minutes. And then in Singapore, while on the flight, I wasn't allowed to sleep because jet lag, and my boyfriend was right. He was right. But instead I got hammered. And then we arrived at Singapore Airlines for a transfer. We had to go to security again, where I got checked very thoroughly. I was standing there in like leggings and a very see-through shirt because they made me take off everything, including my shoes. And I was raging. I was like, so angry at everything. And then we got to the counter where they were checking our tickets. And then they were like, your ticket doesn't work, ma'am. And I just exploded. I was like, how? My ticket doesn't work. I was on that exact plane about 20 minutes ago. How does that not work? And they actually booked me into business class, what I didn't know at that point. And I started to I had a rage moment and screaming at the little guy at the counter. And he was this small at the end because I was screaming at him. And I decided to put myself back in economy. Yeah, so I debunked myself from business class on a 12-hour flight. So congratulations to myself.
Oh my God, I still can't believe this, because I just imagine business class is just obviously, especially on such a long flight, it's just all you want. And then this sort of thing happens. So, I mean, would you have both been put into business class or just you?
No, just me. So my boyfriend would have been put back into economy on his reserve seat.
No, I would have loved that even more. Imagine just being at the front, sipping champagne, and your boyfriend's just in the back,
but we realized that after my boyfriend told me on the plane, he was like, "You debunked yourself from business class. How could you do that? Why didn't you tell me before?"
Yeah, why did he not tell you? Okay,
I don't know.
So funny. I feel like I have to have a word with your boyfriend. Okay, and it's also hilarious how you delayed an international flight by 45 minutes. That's actually hilarious. So we were gonna ask you guys in the audience, did that ever happen to you? We have a quick poll. Were you ever the reason a flight was delayed?
All right, Kira, you're not alone, at least.
Thank God.
So, I mean, at least two others. Maybe that's a funny story to share later on, so you can remember that one.
Yes.
Great. All right.
So our next story is from Valeska, but we are not 100% sure if Valeska can share her story tonight. Valeska, are you there? No, because not quite a travel fail, but I guess a general fail, is that she actually just had a power cut she lives in a small village in the south of Germany. And yeah, they just had a power cut. So I think she's struggling with the internet and everything. So we'll skip Valeska's story for now and maybe get back to her afterwards. But we will go straight to Joanna's story for now.
All right.
Yes, so this one is not so much my fail as my brother's. I hate to call him out, but it's just too good a story. So I was living in the UK and we were taking a ride share to Belgium to just go tour around a bit. And we took it at 2 in the morning. And this is probably why this happened. So we take the ride share, we get out, the lady's on her way to Poland, so driving all the way. And we wander around for a couple hours and we're about to go on another tour. And he looks at me and he says, "I left my passports in her car." And I was like, what did you just say? That is just the absolute worst nightmare, because it's not just they were lost or you're trying to find them, they're actively going to Poland. So we so at first we tried to figure it out if she could mail it, or if the embassy was open we could get an emergency one in the meantime, but options were out. It was Easter at the time, and everything was closed for that. So last option was asking our parents for some advice. So luckily my dad had a very good friend in Belgium who was willing to drive us. So we told her, leave them at a police station somewhere secure and we will come get them ourselves. So our friend, so that was a bit of a escapade. It took us 4 hours, I think, to get there. And it was in the absolute middle of nowhere in Germany, just this tiny police station. None of us spoke German at the time. So my brother goes in and he says, "Yeah, hi, you think you have my documents?" And then they say, "Wait here," very seriously. And then they take my brother into the back room for questioning. And so then I'm just everything going through my head, does he have a warrant? Is there something I don't know? Is he in some international criminal? I have no idea. Why would they need to go through this whole process? So it's 20 minutes later, he comes out And there was a couple reasons. One, the lady didn't explain how she got the passports to the police. She just kind of gave them. So they were a bit curious about how that happened. Also, my brother has, multiple because we're dual citizens. So they were a bit sketched at first, but then, they all checked. So it was fine. And then the third thing was that this was really recently after the bombings that happened in the Brussels airport. And then there was, I think, 2 people still at large. And they were just, I guess, following all leads. So that's why they were asking my brother just in general if he had any connections. But my very darling American frat boy brother, of course, doesn't have nothing to do with that. So he was just very wide-eyed his first time in Europe, like, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong, I'm sorry. So yeah, thankfully we had a good trip after that. But yeah, moral of the story, don't lose your passport. It's not a good time.
Yes, that I would say that is a big moral that everyone should always remember, not to lose their passport. So what was your parents' reaction? Did they freak out?
Yeah, no, they were like, I think I broke it to them very clearly, like, okay, I said, don't freak out. This is the situation. What do we do? And they're like, okay, step one. So thankfully, I think if it hadn't worked out so okay, then they probably would have freaked out more. But
yes, I'm just imagining my dad's reaction. I feel like he would be really angry. But yeah, that's good. And yeah, always sort of, I feel like checking that you have your passport is like, after a story like that, I feel like everyone's number one priority to always be like, do I have my passport? Do I have my passport? But yeah, funny.
I think there's a reason why they like say that in every train or plane or whatever. Just make sure that you have all your belongings with you, because there's people who don't.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
I think did Valeska just join? Is she here right now, or?
We can have another try. Valeska, are you here?
No. German internet is not the best, you guys. You have to know if you're not from Germany. So, but that's fine. I think it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. So we just keep on and go straight to our discussions then, right?
Yes, let's do it.
So we had some 2 stories to get us going and to get us in the mood. So now I think maybe some of you remembered something that happened to them, something crazy, something funny, you got lost somewhere, whatever. So we want to open up the stage, open the discussion. And for everyone who wants to share something, who wants to talk a bit, just put the press the raise hand button. There we have someone already. Don't forget, keep it short and simple. But Carolyn, you're the first one on my screen, so just go ahead.
Hi, in 2018, I went on a dream trip to Greece, and I was at JFK, and the flight left an hour later than it was supposed to. So I missed my connecting flight in Rome to get to Athens. When I finally got to Athens, I took a cab to the port, and I was supposed to go to Mykonos, and I got off on the wrong island. I got off on Tinos, and it was late at night, and I called the people that I was supposed to stay with, and they said, well, you can take an 11:30 p.m. Ferry to Mykonos. I said, I'm not going by myself alone in the dark in a foreign country to the port at 11:30 at night. I'll just get a hotel and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So the next morning I get to Mykonos, and they said the night before when I talked to them that they were going to pick me up at 9:30 a.m. I got there, they weren't there. I called them. I said, I thought you guys were going to be here to pick me up. And they go, oh, we thought it was 12:30. And I said, no. So they finally picked me up. The whole week was a series of calamities. I'm not going to go through it all, but at the end of my island trip to Mykonos, I came back to Athens for a couple days. And there was one thing I wanted to do, which was to see the Parthenon. And so I met with my tour guide. I said, and I showed him my ticket, which was to see the Parthenon and to see the Agora. And then my guide says, well, I don't want to take you on a tour of the Agora. I said, well, I paid for it. Either you pay me back for that portion or you take me on a tour of the Agora, you know. And and it was just crazy. And then at the end, Air France had a strike,
Oh God.
and I couldn't get back home. I was supposed to go to Paris and then to New York, and Air France had a strike. So I had to go to Germany, to Frankfurt, via Lufthansa, which is a very nice airline. But the whole trip from beginning to end was just like a series of mixed connections and
Oh
just a
no.
lot of craziness.
In
That's
Germany,
so-
we say sometimes like manchmal ist der Wurm drin, which means something like there's a worm inside everything, and it's just like kind of nagging on everything and
Yeah. Oh
messing
God, it
everything up.
does not sound like a nice, relaxing holiday. It sounds more like a series of unfortunate events. If anyone knows
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
movie. Okay, nice. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Next up
You're
is
welcome.
Raphael.
All right. Well, this happened in December of 2012. I was taking a group of people from Mexico to Patagonia, specifically to Torres del Paine, which is in the south of South America. And when we were boarding the plane in Mexico, we opened the newspaper and we see that Torres del Paine is burning. So we got all these tours prepared, and the heart of the trip was going to be the Torres del Paine in Chile. So all my group was all freaking out because we said, well, what are you going to do? What are we going to do now? And where are we going to go? So I was telling you there was a Mother Nature act. So they were like, but I told them, you know what, let's wait. It's going to be 1 week till we get there. So why don't we go to Buenos Aires, spend New Year's, and then we're going to go south first to the Argentinian part. And at the very end is the Torres del Paine. So no, why don't we just wait a little bit and see what happens, no? But I was getting pressures to cancel and to take us to Brazil probably. But I decided to keep to be patient. And long story short, we waited, and the 1 day before getting to Torres del Paine, they opened up the park, and we were able to go and up. So it was basically not a failure. It just was Mother Nature intervening in our plans. And the good thing is sometimes you don't have to overreact to the first thing that happens, because it might get solved in its own way, you know. So in this case, we were able to do the whole trip, and we had a lot of fun, and everything went okay after that. No?
Nice.
So you got really lucky. Sometimes patience is the key, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Mm.
That doesn't even
Awesome.
sound like such a fail. That sounds like something happened and you dealt really well with it. So that's really nice. That's really
Yeah.
nice. And Patagonia is actually literally so high on my like bucket list of places to go, because I see pictures and I really, really.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
So
It's easy
nice.
to do it there too.
Yeah, so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And next up, I think is Thorsten.
Yes. Hi. My story is from 2017. I was in Uruguay in Montevideo, and my plan was to go to Asunción in Paraguay. And though there's a connection, there's a flight between these two cities of about 3 hours, but I don't want to spend the money for the flight. So I decided to take the local buses. And so my first trip was from Montevideo to a small town near the border of Argentina and Uruguay. And when I reached the bus station in the small town and I asked for the next bus to cross the border to Argentina, they told me, no, there's no bus today. You have to wait until tomorrow morning for the next bus crossing the border. There's only one bus in the morning and no other bus. So I had to spend one night in this small town in the middle of nowhere. And I walked around and found a camping site. And they have also a building with some beds inside. So I knocked on the door, and one old man opened the door and was totally confused to see a tourist with a backpack in front of him. And that was funny. So next, I could spend one night there. Next day, I took the next bus to the next city in Argentina. And there, my bus to Asunción had a delay of a couple hours. So I spent half of the night in the bus terminal in this town in Argentina. And then next day, I reached Asunción. So it was a trip of almost 3 days instead of a flight of 3 hours.
Wow.
But it was funny.
Oh no, the beauty of local buses, right? Oh no.
Yes.
That sounds horrible.
But did you have enough
But that's
time?
a benefit of South America. You can travel around with the bus everywhere. That's
yeah.
good.
True.
But you lost so much time. Like, did you have enough time in the end to see?
Yes,
everything?
I spent eight months in South America, so
Oh,
3 days are okay.
Okay, that's good. If you had only like 3 weeks, then it would have been a bit worse.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
But that's a good one also.
Thank you very much for sharing.
All right, next is Stella. Hello.
Hey, okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't know if you have to unmute me or if I do that. Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. So my story takes place in Los Angeles. It's a story about probably poor calculation when it comes to traffic. Because I was there in 2018 and I was staying like pretty close to like Dodger Stadium, so very inner city, which was never a problem. And then I booked a hiking tour to Griffith Park for like sunset time, so very beautiful to overlook the city with the observatory and stuff. So yeah, I've booked that while I was still in Germany, I think. So yeah, when the day came, I checked like how long it will take to get there with an Uber because I didn't want to take public transportation. So it was I think about 25 minutes maybe. Fair. You can do that. But I knew it's going to be around like rush hour. So I planned to like have double the time and I'll be safe. No. It took over an hour to get there, and I booked that tour with like an Airbnb experience, and the group didn't wait because they were like, okay guys, we have to leave, there are like other people here as well waiting. So the time when my boyfriend and I arrived, they were gone ages. We couldn't we tried to find them, but we've never been in Griffith Park as well, so we just went up there, looked at the map, and were like, that's a big park. Where do we need to go? So yeah, then it was a lot of crawling and just walking uphill while it was getting dark, with no lighting. So that was fun. I mean, at the end, we kind of reached the top and we had a beautiful view over downtown Los Angeles and the observatory to the right. But it was rocky, yes. So always really plan maybe 3 times what the map might say.
Yes, nice. Oh my god.
Especially in such big cities, I think traffic can get.
I
horrible.
severely underestimated it. Yes.
I would say I'm the opposite. Because I I sometimes have like really bad anxiety, so I like I'll be like, oh my god, okay, so this place is 15 minutes from my house, so I better leave an hour early to make sure that.
And normally I'm like that as well, so I thought, well, double the time should be good, but yeah, not in Los Angeles.
Oh wow. No. Thank you for sharing. Next up is Tim.
Yeah, hello. Like I already told in the Iceland webinar, the story about our camper van we had there, that we lost the complete undercarriage of our car. There was something else to our camper I didn't mention then, because during a snowstorm we lost one of the wheel caps actually. And since everything is so expensive in Iceland, while we have been in another city, we just saw a random wheel cap laying on the side of the road. So we got out of our car, picked it up, and in the evening when we stopped at the camping site, we tried if it fits on our camper van, and it actually fitted. But it was from a complete different car manufacturer, and it didn't match at all. But we thought, well, maybe just take a shot and see if they recognize it and we have to pay for it, or if they just leave it the way it is. And when we returned the car, no one noticed, so we didn't have to pay for that wheel cap.
Wow, you got lucky. Oh my God.
That sounds so funny. Oh my God.
I don't think I would even like come up with this idea. Like I wouldn't even notice it laying on the street somewhere.
Well, it was really completely spontaneous that we saw it on the side of the road, and we was like, we were telling each other, well, just take a shot at it, maybe it fits. And it ended up fine, so that was really good.
Awesome. That's so cool.
So cool.
Great. So anyone else who wanted to tell a little story? Yes, Alison.
Hello. A couple of years ago, I was hiking with a group of maybe 8 to 10 people who were hiking through Jordan with 2 guides. And this was our first night camping. So the guides had set up kind of like an improvised tarp with a couple of wooden beams. And we went to sleep under the tarp. Then earlier, as it got dark, we saw a couple of like stray dogs that started circling the camp. That was the start of the night. Then it started storming, and actually the tarp came crashing down, and one of the beams hit one of the guys on his head. Fortunately, he wasn't seriously hurt, just a bruise. So then we went out from under the tarps, and in the end we were sleeping in the open air while the sand and the wind was kind of blasting us and dogs were circling us. We've had better nights.
Oh no, I can get really cold there, right?
The cold was okay, but the sand in your face is definitely annoying.
Oh no.
Or you're lying there and you're sleeping back.
Could you even sleep for 1 minute?
Kind of.
Okay.
Oh no.
If you close your eyes, you don't see the dogs.
Fair. I feel like after nights like that, you just appreciate your own bed and like everything so much more, though.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Oh my. That's also a good one.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
you.
Next up, we have Flan.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, my story is another hiking story, but it was in the northern part of Scotland. And I was with a group and it was the first day. And then the guy said, hey, can we do a detour? Let's go on a path called the Postman's Path. So you think, okay, a postman's path, that's something that a postman walks every single day. That's going to be safe enough. But that's not considering 2 factors. First of all, it's Scotland, so the weather is not predictable at all. So we set out on this path, and it's just actually right next to a cliff. It's probably been the only time where I've gone like, okay, one wrong step, and I'm swimming with the fishes, so to speak. And we keep on going, and eventually it starts something so much, one of the rivers starts overflowing, so we can't go back. So we find 2 German hikers who will call out there. So it becomes this whole horrible race back to civilization. So we get back and we finally won. And I ask, what about this postman's path? Well, what was the postman's path about 100 years ago, and it's not been used since. So the path has degraded. The path degraded in the last 100 or so years. It wasn't maintained.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God.
I would get so scared.
Yeah.
And the rest of the trip, though, we hiked some plain nasty things, but everyone just looked at each other and said, at least it's not the postman's path. That despite its innocent name was like one of the most scariest paths I walked.
Oh God.
It's a tough job being a postman, I guess.
Yeah. I'm scared of heights, so I would have hated that. Jesus Christ. Oh no, not nice.
No, not at all. Thank you. It's a good story. I like it. All right. Anyone else? This is going good. I like it.
Yeah. I really love your stories. They're so funny, all of them.
All right. I think nobody else.
No? You sure?
So maybe some of you remember something else, and then we'll do a third session for this one.
Oh, we got
Oh,
one.
yes.
Oh, man, another one. Yay.
I'll go tell another one, which is unfortunately another experience with hiking. But this is when I planned a hike in the Netherlands to hike in the UK. And we had all these maps, but these maps note public footpaths, which is actually public access, but you don't see that on a map. And when that was before we had Google Maps. So we plan out these routes. What a public footpath actually means, it doesn't mean it's a paved path. It's just a field on one side of a gate and a field at the other side of the gate. And it was raining and really muddy. So we planned all our hiking routes through all these fields, which we thought were public footpaths. So we spent the whole day trying to walk through farmers' fields and through pigsties, which had 3 days of rain. So one wrong step in your boot was all the way up to your knee.
Where in the UK was that?
In the Lake District, because they say public footpath, and you think nicely paved path. Or no, it's just a gate on one side of the field and a gate on the other side that you can walk through.
I have to remember that if I ever go there.
And then the thing, and no maps will tell you this. It's just something you have to find out when you're there.
Oh, no. I'm going to take note.
Yes, definitely for next time. When you come visit me in Wales, say now, we'll go to Wales and then we'll go hiking.
Yes, but not on those paths.
No. We got another hand, Emily.
Yes, hi. This is more, it's like a story for an internship that I had a few years ago in Barcelona. I do want to add first, be careful with accommodation that you're going to choose. So this was going to be my room/studio for like 5 months. And so I was really searching well for the perfect one and not too expensive, because center of Barcelona is pretty pricey. And I found one like really, really nice in the center that is super cheap. And I thought, oh, wow, how lucky am I? Nope. I was not lucky. I arrived there like a few days before with some friends of mine with an Airbnb to check around the surroundings. And then I would go to the studio and then start my internship. And then when I arrived there with my huge suitcase, another small suitcase, and a big ass backpack, I rang the doorbell, no one answered. I tried to WhatsApp them, no one answered, of course, no calls, nothing. So I was stuck there, didn't know what to do. And a friend of mine was supposed to stay with me, and we were stuck in Barcelona with all of our bags. The first night we didn't know where to go and what to do. So what did we do? We went to, I think it was Burger King. So let's just get a burger and figure it out together. And then in Burger King, like once one bad thing happens, another thing happens as well. So these two weirdo guys came up to us and talking super weird. We didn't really understand them, and they actually stole my friend's bag with all of her passports and documents and all the important papers and her money.
Oh no.
So we were stuck in Barcelona, nowhere to sleep, all of our bags with us, well, minus her backpack. Yeah, it was an experience.
Oh no.
I bet. Oh no. Oh, it's the worst if someone steals anything from you.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Especially in that situation.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
God, I hate that. My mum always taught me to really like, I mean, she was a bit extreme, but she would literally like, wherever we would go, she'd always like have one hand on her like handbag or bag, and we'd always like, as kids, we'd always be like, Mum, you're being so ridiculous. But now I'm literally the same. I'm always like clutching on things.
Once you actually experience it yourself, then you really like, yeah. And I think there was a question in the discussion, did you finally access your studio? No, because it actually doesn't exist.
No. Oh no.
I know. Yeah. Super fail.
Oh, that's so bad. That never happened to me, that I wanted to stay somewhere and it didn't exist. But that's,
no, neither.
Yeah, it happens. You have to be careful. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yes. Literally.
Also something to remember, something to write down in your notes, guys.
Yes, 100% true, I would say.
I love it. That was great.
Thank you. Okay.
Awesome. So I think we're going to wrap up here. If you have some more stories, save them for the next episode of this, because it's coming soon, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure we'll do one once a month just to keep ourselves entertained while lockdown seems to be going on forever in Germany.
Yeah. Oh, someone raised their hand. Yes, please.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, hi. There's more than one story. I have a half a dozen, but I'm just going to mention this one that was really something that should never have happened, and the odds were that it shouldn't have, but it did. I was going home to my home in New York, and I had visited my family in Italy, and they have a house in Bari. But to get to the airport, you fly through Rome. So I'm in the cab, and it's raining, and we're heading to the airport. And you know the steel railings for the trolleys? When they get wet, they get pretty slippery. And this is something the cab driver, unfortunately, did not take into account. So anyway, we're going, and he hits the brakes because the car in front of us stopped short. Well, his tires happen to be on the steel rails. So crash, we go right into the guy in front of us. So the guy is upset. The driver says, "Oh, look, give me your name, address. You have to be a witness, when I go to court." I said, "Listen, I'm on my way to the airport, and I'm flying to New York. I'm not coming back here for a while." So anyway, it was just funny that the whole thing. Lucky nobody got hurt, but I said of all the things that happened. So anyway, that's the story.
Oh no. But we got some people really lucky tonight. Like nobody got hurt there. That's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was just very odd. I never expected anything like that to happen.
No, why would you? I mean, you expect your driver to take care,
Yeah, it's just luck. I mean, the tires happen to be on the steel rails, and it happened to be raining, and the guy in front just happens to stop short enough so that he slides. He doesn't. His wheels lock, but he's on the steel, so it's like being on ice. He just boom, right into him.
Yeah. It's sometimes funny how you find yourself in these situations and you think, okay, all of these little things happened at the same time for me to be in this situation. And it's just, it's crazy to think like that sometimes. But
it was more funny than anything else, to be honest.
Yes, definitely.
For me, not for him, but for me.
And that's always the best part. If you can laugh about it afterwards, then it's always nice. So that's good. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay. Great. So I would say we're gonna wrap this up right now. And but we want to let you know about some upcoming events that we have. So let's see. So because we also put on some other events, not only this travel fails, but I'm sure we're going to do another episode of this one. But we also have some webinars for you guys. So if you're interested in the USA, for example, we have that coming up May 6th. We also are talking about Portugal next week, and also how to find travel buddies quickly and easily. That's another webinar that's coming up that we're organizing. So if you want to join any of those, you can check out the events page, because we will post the link to that in the chat also, and you can sign up for that. And of course, for the weeks afterwards, there's also a lot of things planned already. So if you want to check that out.
Yes, I feel like we have some really, really amazing webinars planned, which I'm really excited about. And it'll not just be me and Zaina hosting them, it'll be our lovely colleagues as well. So yeah, you'll have a great time. But yeah, one thing that's super important for us as well is, of course, hearing your thoughts about what you've sort of experienced in the last 45 minutes. So yeah, you would really help us out if you could just take a really couple of minutes to fill out the feedback form, so we can just get an idea on how we can improve things, so that episode 3, 4, 5, 100 will be even more amazing. And yeah, you even have the chance to win a €20 or $24 voucher for one of our trips. So you will find the link to our feedback form in the chat now. And yeah, finally, before we go, do you guys have any sort of general questions about maybe Join My Trip or anything else that you can think of, or anything that you just in general want to ask?
Doesn't look like it.
No, everyone seems to be very satisfied.
Everyone seems to be very happy. So let's use the reaction one last time. How did you like it tonight? Yay, awesome.
Yay.
Great. That looks good. So I think that's one reason to do this again. I had so much fun. I really liked it. Some great stories there. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what's next, to be honest. And thank you for sharing, everybody, really.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your stories and listening to other people's stories. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us at any point if again questions come up or you just want to chat. We're very happy to talk to you about anything. And of course, also make sure to follow us on social media, because there you will get lots of fun and exciting and amazing and interesting content. And yeah, we would be super happy to see you there, or of course on our website joinmytrip.com. That would be amazing as well if we saw maybe a few of you there soon. And yeah, from my side, thanks Zaina for the lovely evening, and thanks to everyone, and until next time.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure with you tonight.
Okay,
I'll
bye
see you all
guys.
again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah, bye everyone.